you gotta think. I mean,
If
they
right,
can spin it that way.
Of course.
But if they're how do I say this? If they're trying to fill every order and they're paying out this bread, I mean, they're gonna go under. Now, I mean, they can only pay but so many people.
True. That
They
makes
can only pay
sense.
but so many people. So
All right, so I feel a little better about that.
a little
Okay,
bit, right.
just a little bit.
I think
Yeah, no,
is
that's
it so?
crazy.
Is it advantageous for a smart real estate investor to buy property then? Because like one conversation that me and my wife always having is like,
yeah.
why not just use like we would see somebody building a whole new building right
Mhm.
next to a dilapidated building that they won't even tear down or repurpose for anything, right? And so
Yeah.
a developer is just gonna keep building more and just ignore what's already out there, or are they gonna just keep letting those buildings go to waste?
Well, it depends on their strategy. It depends on any strategy. It sounds crazy, but anybody can make something work in the market, right?
Hmm.
And to your point where you're saying somebody like a developer is building a new development right next to a dilapidated development. I mean, maybe their strategy it could be for depreciation standards. It can be
Right.
more so they have a special loan that they're getting where they can enter their strategy. Let's say, for instance, they sat down and they've done their analysis. It probably cost them less. It sounds crazy. It probably cost them less to build that site than to just buy a developed site
Wow.
based on their relationships with banks because they probably still got a crazy low rate, right? And although we're looking at high interest rates, XYZ, this is where relationships come into play with certain asset managers because they have crazy relationships for years, right, with banks. So if you have a developer 25 years in the game. Let's look at somebody like and I don't like talking about big dogs because we try to make it seem okay, you can do this within 5 to 10 years, but no, like someone like Don Peebles, I mean, he's been in the game 30 plus years,
Hmm.
Right,
right? You think a bank is going to charge them 7 to 8%? Absolutely not.
no,
So your new development that you're seeing may be from somebody like a Don Peebles, right? Which
Hmm.
may not make sense to you, but it makes sense to them because they
Right.
have skin in
right,
the game, they have capital, they have a ton of relationships with financiers, right, that can give them favorable rates below market rates. So you're already coming in with as a profit, right? Because if you're pricing something based off of 8%, but I'm able to come in at 5%, I already have a spread there where I can work a little bit of margin. So
Hmm.
whoever's building that new site next to a dilapidated site, for one, they're coming in strong because now they're setting the comps in the area, right? So that's
mm-hmm.
that's an advantage that they have. And then once they set the comps in the area, they'll probably either just buy up the rest or just leverage their property regarding the market value so they can either refinance at a later time or and like you said, or build some more.
Right.
So,
Well, that's
but why
dope.
not? Well, why don't people use the building that's already standing? Like that's just one thing that just always been a gripe. Like it's a hard to be in the building, right? And it just
Yeah.
be there for like 10, 15 years, but nobody
Uh-huh.
will touch it, right?
Maybe
That's
So
a
there's
I
that's
just
a
don't know.
liability attached to it.
that's a yeah. I mean, it's so many factors. If it's a new build, you also got to think about. Are you familiar with ESG, environmental social governance?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a big thing nowadays.
Right, right. So you got to think of, just in the future, are they trying to get certain patents? Are they trying to get certain permits? Because, USDA, they're giving out loans, they're giving out credits, certain states, certain municipalities, they're giving out
Dope.
credits for, ESG certified buildings.